Well, President Trump is celebrating the 4th of July by signing his sweeping domestic policy bill into law. The president held a signing ceremony on the White House South Lawn within the last hour. The legislation increases spending for border security and defense and extends the president's 2017 tax cuts. But it also makes steep cuts to safety net programs and Medicaid. Still, President Trump says the legislation is a win for everyone.
I've never seen people so happy in our country because of that, because so many different groups of people are being taken care of, the military and civilians of all types, jobs of all types. We're adding things like the biggest tax cut in the history of our country.
The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says the bill will add more than $3 trillion to the deficit over the next decades. And the bill includes tax breaks, but also some major spending cuts to Medicaid. And that could have a major impact on families in our area. Bauman sat down with a New Jersey family.
Where do you see you and your sons a year from now?
I'm nervous. I don't know how much more we can sacrifice.
Caring for nonverbal twin boys with autism is a full-time job for New Jersey mother Teresa Luoni.
They both get speech and occupational therapy through Medicaid, and they rely on these systems for not just their health care, but their education.
She worries what will happen to her family as the federal tax and spending bill passed by Congress aims to cut nearly $1 trillion from Medicaid.
So I'm potentially looking at my children who it's already been determined that the public school is not the right placement for them. So they're in private placement, but if the funding goes away, my kids wouldn't be eligible to go to public school, and there would be nowhere for them to go, because I certainly can't afford tuition for a full-time program.
The 900-page bill boosts security and ICE enforcement, increases defense spending, and extends President Trump's 2017 tax cuts, which includes an increase in the child tax credit and raises the cap on state and local tax deductions.
This will cover, in my district, 90% of my constituents will be able to fully deduct their state and local taxes. And I live in one of the highest tax districts in the country.
Hospital will be closed because the funding will be cut, and we will not have enough resources in order to care for our most vulnerable population.
The legislation will also eliminate federal taxes on tips and overtime pay, including for nurses like Nancy Hagan.
So we are being asked as healthcare workers to say, you know, I would rather receive an extra 50 cents over somebody else's life.
And Bauman joining us now here in the studio. You talked in your report about how many people in our area are impacted. So can you talk about who is at risk of losing Medicaid?
Yeah, Natalie, so one of the biggest changes is going to be stricter work requirements for some Medicaid recipients, and there are exceptions, including low-income parents with children under 14 years old. The family that I interviewed for this story, the sons are going to be turning 14 next year. The mother is not working the minimum hours required to be eligible for this. And she says even if her family stays covered by Medicaid, that she worries with nearly $1 trillion in cuts, some of those services are inevitably going to be compromised.
Okay, Allie, great reporting. We'll hear many more of these stories, I'm sure, in the coming months. Thank you.